Hey, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel where I help freelancers, agencies, and consultants land clients. Sometimes when people come to me wanting to learn about my program, Revenue Spark, they're wanting to earn 5 figures a month. But other times they're coming to me and they just want to earn a little extra cash and kind of offer a service as a side hustle, and that's great too. Side hustles are perfect if you already have a full-time job, or if you have a family, or if you're going to school, or they can be an excellent place to start if you want to begin small and kind of transition into a new full-time thing. Either way, whatever you're trying to accomplish with your side hustle, you are more than likely going to have 2 questions right off the bat. The first question is, which side hustles are even worth pursuing? And the second question is, how do you go about pursuing them? Full transparency, this video is not going to be about things like Etsy, opening up an Etsy shop, selling your things, crypto, all cool concepts, but that's not what my channel is about. Instead, we're going to talk about more specific online side hustles. I'm going to give you some ideas, and then we're going to move into some tips for how you can start earning money with those side hustles. Sound good? Give this video a thumbs up to help support my channel, and let's dive right in. All right, so let's start with online side hustle ideas. I'm going to try to incorporate a little variety here so that you have different things to choose from. Option number 1 is freelance writing, and I'm bringing this up for a very important reason, so stick with me. You might have seen this one coming. My background is in writing. I was a freelance writer and now I'm an agency owner, and a lot of my students in Revenue Spark are also writers. But freelance writing is very broad, very nebulous. So let's talk about a few more specific things that you could do as an online side hustle that all fall under the umbrella of freelance writing. The first side hustle is writing product descriptions. I've seen brands hiring for this 1,000,001 times. And what's really cool is that writing product descriptions is usually something that you can do pretty quickly because we're talking about very short blurbs of text. This is also a great online side hustle, especially if you don't have a ton of experience with writing, because when we're talking about product descriptions, all you're doing is describing the product, so you really don't have to get that creative with what you're saying. All it requires is for you to share the details of the product, and more than likely, the client is going to give you something to work with, so it's not like you're coming up with them all on your own. Email copy is another very in-demand skill set. Now, I'm not talking about email marketing as a whole, which requires a lot more knowledge and there's a bigger learning curve. I'm talking more specifically about writing the emails themselves. This is something that a lot of brands outsource, and even if you're not entirely sure what this looks like, a really simple way to do it is to go sign up for other people's newsletters and see what kind of content they're sending you. And if a brand ends up hiring you and you don't know what to say, go sign up for their competitors' newsletters and see what kind of stuff they're talking about and how they're covering it. Don't copy it, that's not the point. You never want to copy anyone else's work, but the point is that this is a really simple way to kind of get a better feel for how people in that industry manage their email copy. Also, there are tons of free templates online. Tons. Endless. Of course, there are a ton of other things that you could write as a freelance writer, ebooks, white papers, blogs, but the reason I didn't bring those up in this video is because those are going to require a little more research on your end. There's more of a learning curve, and that's okay. You just have to remember that with, producing content like that, if you don't have any experience, it's going to take you a little bit longer to kind of pick up the basics. On a related note, if you want more help writing blogs that rank in Google, I have a program called How to Blog Like a Pro, and if you want to join it, I am going to give you 50% off just for watching this video. Just drop me a comment. I mentioned earlier that I bring up freelance writing for one important reason, and that is this. One of the coolest things about writing is that if you can write, there are a million other things that you can do. You don't have to be the best writer in the world, but if you can string words together in a way that is grammatically correct, the world is your oyster. Writing is the foundation of so much of what we do online. That brings us to option number 2, social media. Again, super broad, so let's define it a little more clearly. Social media is very multifaceted, and some of those facets brands commonly outsource. For example, I've seen a lot of brands outsource the writing for their social media posts. Okay, so they will hire a social media person just to create the written content, the text, and that person will put all of the content maybe in a Google Drive doc and hand it over to the client, and then the client takes it from there. Other times, I haven't seen this as often, but I've seen it, the reverse. So brands will create the copy themselves, the social media copy, and then they will hire someone to schedule all of the content out for them. If I were to pursue this online side hustle, I would approach it as I will create a month's worth of social media posts for you. Doing it this way in batches is going to make it a lot easier to work and communicate with your clients, and it's going to make it easier for you to earn more money. So do it in batches, offer it in batches. Also, social media graphics. We're gonna get into graphic design in just a minute, but I might as well bring this up now. Creating graphics for social media is incredibly time consuming, and part of that is because every platform has its own requirements. For instance, something that's going in an Instagram newsfeed is ideally a perfect square, whereas an Instagram story is a vertically oriented rectangle, and everything has specific dimensions. This is something brands outsource. They don't want to deal with it, so they pay someone else to. Let's get right into option 3, which is graphic design. This is another broad one that can mean so many different things. So we already talked about social media graphics, graphics that go into email marketing or the templates for email marketing, blog and website graphics, pamphlets, ebooks, all of those things require design elements. I know people who create and sell Canva templates. Which I think this is so cool. They create templates in Canva, which you can do for free, I might add, and they sell them to brands. That is just brilliant. Option number 4 is you can work as a sort of admin or virtual assistant. This means you could be doing just about anything, which is great because you're going to get a lot of experience with a variety of tasks, and also a lot of the brands and companies out there hiring for this type of position, very often it's part-time and the hours are flexible. So if you're looking for a side hustle, like a very part-time side hustle to do on the side of something else, this could be a good route for you. I don't know why I said that. That's the whole point of a side hustle to begin with. You might be scheduling appointments, managing someone's inbox and responding to emails, cleaning out Excel spreadsheets, basically whatever that brand or that person needs. You're kind of their assistant. Option number 5, you can sell spreadsheets. I discovered this one only recently, and I swear to God, if I had more time on my hands, I would do it just for funsies because I love spreadsheets. There are so many amazing, powerful things you can do with a program like Excel, but most brands don't have the time or the interest or the capacity in learning how to do all these things, which is understandable. You can sell spreadsheets. This might mean taking, information that a client has given you and creating their own customized spreadsheet, or you can create templates where the formulas are already entered in and all a company would have to do is put their data in and the spreadsheet would take care of the rest. If you don't know how to work with spreadsheets, if you don't know how to work with Excel, then you would need to go learn. But the cool thing is this type of task, this skill set is something that you can absolutely get started with for free using something like Google or YouTube. There are already people teaching this. So there you have it, 5, or actually more than 5 online side hustles that you could start right now. Let's move on to a few simple but very important tips for how you can make your online side hustle work for you. Tip number 1 is don't just list yourself or your service on an online marketplace and call it a day. I have thoughts about online job boards and bidding sites like Fiverr. I've talked about it many times. These are the videos. I'll put the links below. But there's going to be at least one person watching this video who's going to want to try them anyway, and I get it. Sometimes you have to try and see for yourself how these things work. But I will still offer you this word of caution. Don't just create a gig on Fiverr and sit back and wait for the clients to come knocking, because they won't. You have to be proactive about going out and finding clients. How? Good question. That is what this entire channel is about. Literally, this is what I do. I teach people how to land clients. So go back to my main videos page and watch everything. That is how you land clients. If you were to just create a gig on Fiverr or wherever and wait, you would be waiting a very long time because these marketplaces are very saturated, which means that they're very competitive. And sitting there waiting for clients to fall into your lap is a really quick way for this to all not work. Tip number 2, use free and cheap learning resources to your advantage. The reason for the specific side hustles that I included on this list, like I mentioned earlier, they are quick to pick up the basics and they are cheap to learn the basics. You can find tons of resources on Google and YouTube for free, and they can help you get going with your online side hustle. If you want to invest a little bit of money, there are lots of very affordable resources out there. I mentioned my blogging program earlier, which I am offering to you for 50% off. Udemy is another great place where you can kind of browse online courses. I will say, you should be doing this anyway, but with something like Udemy, definitely do your due diligence, because just about anyone can go and post a program there, publish a program, a course. So you want to make sure that whoever you're going to for advice, they are reputable and trustworthy and they know what the heck they're talking about. You don't want someone who's just trying to sell courses, all right? They should be able to walk the walk. But you do not need a degree. You do not need to go back to college and learn a new skill set in order to do one of these side hustles. You have the world at your fingertips thanks to the internet. You can do just about anything. Tip number 3 is sell preset packages. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but let's loop back around and expand on it just a bit. For example, if you are going to create templates, don't just say, I create templates. Say, I create unique templates for you to brand and share across your social media channels. So do you see what I did? It's a little more specific, and I'm just trying to illustrate the service more, because that's going to help you stand out from your competition. Get specific and be detailed in describing what your services are. And then you want to add on to this that you sell your product, your online product, in batches. So maybe you will create a batch of 30 days worth of social media posts, or 10 graphics, or 50 product descriptions, or whatever. Typically, when you kind of do them in bigger groups like that, it's going to catch a potential client's eye more than I write product descriptions, or I'll write you a product description. Very often with what we're talking about here with these online side hustles, brands don't need one, they need many. They need someone who can churn out social media posts or graphics or product descriptions or whatever. So you kind of want to cater to that need. I want to end this with some, hopefully these are words of encouragement. Is this stuff easy? No, because of the competition. Millions of people are already doing this, but nobody can do it exactly like you. There are tons of people who already do what I do, and I'm still successful. So it's possible. You can do it. Think outside the box, get specific with your services, and use to your advantage free and cheap resources online to help you learn new skills. If you don't believe yourself, at least believe me. I know you can make this work. Even if you don't have a ton of time, even if you have no education, in this digital age, you can make money doing anything. There is nothing you can't do. If you're on TikTok, maybe you've seen this guy. He's pretty popular and he doesn't even speak. If you're new to this channel, like I mentioned, I help people land clients. So whether you are building up a side hustle or you're a freelancer, an agency, a consultant, I can teach you how to land clients. And I also have my blogging program, How to Blog Like a Pro, because my background is in writing. So I teach people how to create content that ranks in Google. If you are interested in either of those programs, the links are below. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, it means you liked this video, and I would really appreciate if you could give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, just drop them in a comment below, and I'll see you next time.